Hey, it's Mike with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Tuesday. It's February 18th. This will be our chart lesson for today. And I forgot last week that today was Monday was a bank holiday. So um, if you came in expecting to trade Monday and wasn't much happening, that's because there was a bank holiday. And generally, those trades you don't want to try to trade on those days. There's just not enough. There's just not enough volume of price action. You can see that's the whole day right there basically. So just wasn't much happening. So we gapped down and opened and noticed that we have pretty much filled that gap. No, we hadn't quite filled that gap. We're still a little bit of ways. You can see the gap is up here. So we're trying to fill it. But notice we really had a leg down correction and another leg down. You probably get a more accurate read by measuring this leg and then moving this over to here, and you can see we really had a perfect measured move down and a bounce, and then we tried to go lower again and then reversed out of there. So trading was pretty good early on. There was a big down move here, but you didn't get a lot of entries, at least not on my chart, and you didn't get much chance to enter this on the way back up really either. So most of your better trading was early on. But let me back out of here. We'll go through the trades, and it's a little late today. It's tax time, so I've been working on taxes, and I'm a little distracted this afternoon. I'm ready to get out of here. So I'm not going to beat around the bush on this. But you can see we were really kind of low volume and flat early on until we finally started getting some movement here. But first trade, 7 o'clock, came right in here. I'll be honest with you, I was a few minutes late getting started, so this bar had already pretty much formed before I was able to get started. So I don't know if prices broke higher or lower here first or what, but really you could have waited on this bar to close. This is basically your signal bar anyway. If it broke lower first, I wouldn't, and turned back up when it came out the other side, I wouldn't have a problem going long right there. But if it didn't, you still could have waited on this to break, and maybe you drop a limit order a tick or two back just to get a little better entry. But you still got room to get out before these highs, and this is probably going to trap some people. I marked it green because it's not a perfect setup. This bar is really big, and I don't know how this set up, to be honest with you, because I was just getting to my desk at that point. So if it broke lower first and went out the other side, or if you had a little different setup on your chart and you had a nice signal bar right here to enter on this high or low, by all means go long there. The better entry was to wait for this one on my chart. Notice the new high, pull back first entry, pull back when it broke higher, you got a nice second entry long. And then you get another second entry right here, same thing, pull back. You got a new high there, it's higher than that one. So pull back, plus it's a double top, so you can count it as a new high that way too, but it did break higher than this high. So new high, first entry, pull back, second entry, plus you get a little double bottom here. Nice entry. There's a higher low here, but we're too far away from the EMA. We're right into the midline. I'd wait on that one. And this is one that's really tempting to go short because it's a little small bar. It's like 3 ticks in that bar. It is a little bit of a trap, and you're a long way away from the EMA. So if you wanted to be aggressive, that might be one, just simply because the risk is so low. I mean, you're going to risk 3 or 4 ticks right there to try to ride that back to the EMA, especially when this thing has been really chopping around and now suddenly you got 2 legs up. And plus you could argue you had a break right there. It's not a very convincing close outside, but it is. And then you got 2 legs up. So anyway, we run down, we run back up. There's a lower high right here. It's a possibility to go short, but the fact that we bounced real quick and got back above the EMA and that's not a, I mean, that's a relatively bearish bar, but it's not perfect. So I would just wait. And the next thing you know, you get this trap down here. And this one did break lower first. There's actually a little second entry short right there. And of course, you don't want to take that right into the support across there. But when it turns down and fails and instantly goes up, I like going long there. Or you could even wait on this one and go long there. It's almost a lot like this setup right here. Very similar, almost a repeat type pattern. So I like it. Again, there's a high or low right here. Not a very good signal bar right into the high, and you see it failed real quickly. And then we're just kind of chopping along. There's actually a failure right there, but it's just not worth it to go long into that. Not when you got a break and a new high in place, because it could just tick a few ticks up and then fail, just like it did. And you might actually consider going short right there, although everything is still above the EMA, and you could get trapped here on this thing just failing back in and going higher. So I think you're better off to sit tight, and then suddenly you get a double test, a second entry long. Notice you made that low, you test it once, you test it twice. Notice that new high, first entry, you pull back again, second entry. A little bit of a trap when it broke lower. Nice bullish bar. And then by that time, it's obvious we're in this trading range here. And now you come up here and you get a little double test of these highs right here. You test it once, twice. Relatively bearish bar. And you're just going short off the high. If you'd got a good signal bar, you might have gone long there. Then we run back up here and you make a double top. So you made this high, you test it once, you test it twice. So as soon as it breaks lower, it's a failure on a double test. But it actually breaks higher and traps, breaks above those 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 bars. And when it turns down there, you want to go short. And if you catch this one, you know, you might hold a runner on this one, because you might even hold one here. But when you made that big low and then you get trapped up here again, technically you'd probably be better off to wait on a lower high. But the reason I like maybe trying to hold a runner right there is because this may turn out to do just what it did. When you try to go higher that many times and eventually fail, you're probably going to go lower. This thing, you know, was trading down here. So you could catch a big run down. There's a lower high here, but I don't think you want it. This is really your signal bar right here. It's too bullish. That's just the inside bar. It's a shame because this thing really takes off. And even if you'd have held a runner here, you may not have let it come back that far. So then we run on down. You get a break. You get a first entry, and you get a second entry right here. But this is technically your second entry when it broke lower right there. And that bar's too bullish. And this bar is awful big. It is right off the key entry point. But look at all that support right there. There's a good chance it snaps back again, which it did. And you didn't really get another setup. And then it fails right there. But I don't think you want to go short into all that resistance in the EMA either, even though it takes off. There is a pretty good trap right there. If you got room to get out before that EMA, you might consider that long right there. Just because you're making a higher low, and there is a short trap right there. But I would only be looking for a scalp there. I wouldn't be expecting this to happen. So it runs up, and you get a failed second entry long right there. Notice that high, first entry, and then you shoot through the EMA, a second entry. Relatively bearish bar back into this trading range. When it breaks higher there and fails and turns down, you want to go short right there. And I would try to catch a runner here because you might get that measured leg that I just showed you right here. And notice that pretty much makes a perfect measured move down, so that would have been a great target. You've really gotten too far away from the EMA. Even though you're still off this key entry point, you definitely don't want to take that one because it's right at the overnight support. And then this one's not a very good signal bar, and you're just getting further away from the EMA. We do get your first break here and a second entry short. My chart, unfortunately, I don't have a very good signal bar. And then even my second signal bar, if it was real bearish, you might let it break lower there and then try to limit order. But it's just not a good setup on my chart. If you got a good signal bar right there on a second entry short, I'd probably take that because there's plenty of room to get out. And you can see it does run down and make a new low. But it comes back here and gives you another second entry short right at the EMA. And now I got a perfect signal bar. It's very bearish. So I like going short there. And then you make a little double bottom with and it bounces. There's a higher low right here, but you don't want to go long right there. I'd look for the true reversal with a failed second entry short, and that comes here, and that does confirm that trend line. A lot of congestion right there. That's definitely a doji. There's more than 4 bars. Good signal bar. Definitely a failed second entry short. That failure might be enough to push you through, but there's a lot of congestion there, and we didn't quite get back to the EMA, so that's a little iffy. I did mark it green, but unless you're wanting to be really aggressive, I'd skip that trade. And it's unfortunate because you don't really get another chance to enter that, and that's a nice move. You had to assume we were at least coming back to here probably, so that's another reason you might take that. It does confirm the trend line. It is a bullish bar. There's some reasons to like that trade, but there's some definitely reasons to be concerned about it. Definitely don't want to enter here. And then of course you get up here and you get a failed second entry long right here, a long way away from the EMA. That's good for at least a ride back. I'd take that trade, and you actually get a little more out of that. There's a little bit of another trap right here, and it would have worked. And it's a second entry short, so you may take that one. I didn't mark it. I'll at least give it a green. Notice that you got a new low and you get the first entry, and then you pull back again, and when it breaks lower there, it's not a perfect second entry, but it's definitely 2 legs back. Again, it's not a perfect setup, but there's enough reason there. It's a double top below the EMA. Nice bearish bar. It's right into that low, and there is some previous support there. And I'm just not crazy about it, but I'll give it the green. You definitely don't want to be going long there, and it's a shame that you don't get a setup because once again, it takes off. If you'd had a good close outside here and a new low, you might, and enough room to get out for the EMA there, you might take that one, but you run up here and you do get a second entry long right here. That's the first break, and at this point you want to at least measure this first leg here and hope you get a second leg up, which you do, and you don't quite get a measured move there, but that's close enough, so that'd give you enough reason to go long right there. And you actually get another second entry long right here, but you can't. That's right after 2 o'clock, and there's just too much congestion. A lot of resistance right there. Being after 2 o'clock, I'd just skip it. So it was a little slow in the afternoon. There's still a few trades in here, but there were several of them here early on. And if you caught 1 or 2 of them, that's all you really need for the day. But you had to be real patient from about 10 o'clock on, because there's not a lot of trades there. 1, 2, 3, and a couple of green ones. So that's a long time to sit there not getting set up. But that's what you have to be able to do. Be patient and wait, and not force trades. And what's really hard is when you see, I'll say this again, all this moving down here and all this moving up, it's hard to watch that go without you and you not get a chance to enter. But that's what separates really good traders from really bad traders. The good traders have the discipline to say, hey, I didn't get a setup, even though this is taking off. I did the right thing. I'm not going to worry about it. But a bad trader will finally get a chance to enter on this, and they'll watch it, and they'll say, next pullback I'm entering. They enter right there, and they get trapped instantly, and it goes the other way, and they get stopped out. And that's what happens to you. So even though you watched it take off and go here and you didn't get a good entry, if it wasn't a good entry and you read it right, and even though it took off, you did the right thing. So make sure you tell yourself that. because that's how you reinforce bad habits. You watch a trade, you see something and you kind of like it, but you know it's not a good setup, and you don't take it, but then it does exactly what you thought it would probably do, even though it wasn't a good setup, and you kick yourself, and it reinforces bad habits is what it really does. And the next time, the next 9 times you see that setup and take it, it won't work, and you'll get stopped out. And so it's like picking tops. If you ever pick one and you get it right, you make big money. You keep trying over and over and over to do it again. But in the end, it's a losing strategy. And entering up through here like this, even though it worked today, it's a losing strategy. And you'll reinforce a really bad habit. So that's the best thing I can tell you on today on a move, a couple of these moves. Same thing coming down, same thing going up. If you don't have a good setup and you didn't take it, even though it took off and it really ran, you did the right thing. So just remind yourself of that and pat yourself on the back if you didn't take these trades. If you did take one of these and your setups didn't look any better than mine, then and you made money, don't get too excited because you probably didn't take a good trade, and you're just reinforcing probably a really bad habit that's going to cost you in the long run. So anyway, that's enough for today. I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.